Hey everybody, John here, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be starting a new series and I'm calling it the Capsule Diaries. So the idea here is basically just a sort of casual vlog journal type thing where I can talk about supplements that I'm taking and making, the formulations that I'm coming up with, how I'm formulating them, how they're going for me, any adjustments I want to make with the next iteration of that batch or that formula. And it'll also just be a good place for me to have the formula to reference later because you can get lost in the shuffle and it's useful to have on hand, especially related back to a specific point in time. So yeah, this first entry is going to be a brand new stack that I've been sort of stewing on for a while, and it's called Dreamtime. This is just a playful name that I settled on. It doesn't really, the purpose of it isn't to enhance dreaming, although it might promote some lucidity, it might promote some dream recall. That's a sort of secondary benefit that isn't the purpose of it. I got the idea from the Aboriginal Dreamtime, and then I was excited to come across the Hansonian Dreamtime, which they're both interesting things, but that's for another video. So let's talk about the formulation here. Dreamtime pulls influence from a few different stacks, and those stacks are basically ZMA, which is like a sort of jock bodybuilder recovery stack that mixes zinc, magnesium, and some other stuff. I am much more of a sedentary intellectual and artist, so I have some sort of aversion to buying ZMA just because I feel like it's not for me. But it's a cool stack, and I'd like to make sure that I'm not magnesium deficient, and zinc is kind of an underrated compound in terms of promoting healthy dopamine metabolism. So more on that later, but the other stacks I'm pulling influence from are a new one called Sleep Support from Nootropics Depot. Nootropics Depot is excellent. I highly recommend them if you are into nootropics. And they, like any reasonable 2020 supplements company, have an open source sort of style about their formulations. So while I'm not pulling too much from their stack, I'm getting a little bit of a sense of how to approach this from them. And the other one is called the Mr. Happy stack, which is there's some similarities between Sleep Support and Mr. Happy, but it's more of a daytime thing, and it's geared towards dopaminergic receptor sensitivity. And so those are kind of the things that came together to create this, but with my own sort of imprint on it. So let's get into what's in it. The first thing is L-glycine, which is the amino acid. There's 420 milligrams of this, and glycine I put in there because it's known for promoting restful sleep. It's a great, it doesn't induce sleep necessarily, but it promotes restful sleep. And as a vegan, this is one of those amino acids that is less commonly found in vegetables and such. So I wanted to make sure that I was getting enough of it. This is glycine in its free form, and next up is lemon balm, and I'm using a specific version of lemon balm from a brand called Syracuse, I'm not sure. There are 84 milligrams of that in each capsule, and I'll probably be excluding this in favor of like a 10-to-1 extract the next time I do this batch, just because the Syracuse one has a little bit of rosmarinic acid in it, and whilst, not a stimulant by any means, it has a slightly less calming effect than the standard lemon balm, and so I'll be using the Syracuse one in a different stack, almost as sort of like a replacement for L-theanine, because I guess I'm a little bit unenthused by L-theanine these days, and I'm opting for lemon balm. So next time I'll do it with the 10-to-1 extract, but for now it's just 84 milligrams of the Syracuse one. Then I have magnesium in its glycinate form, 63 milligrams, and magnesium is everybody's deficient in that, and so might as well take it all the time. And the glycinate version is I guess supposed to be pretty good for pre-bed, as opposed to something like 3-in-8, which is also a little bit more pricey and a little bit more sort of like a cerebral blood flow thing. So magnesium also has like a calming effect. It's sort of can reduce jaw tension, this, that, the other. I eat a lot of leafy greens, so I'm probably getting sufficient magnesium, but pretty much the entire population is deficient in it. So I feel like it's a pretty good idea to just put it in here, especially since it promotes calm sleep. So next up is uridine monophosphate. This is a really interesting compound that's found in beer, actually, and it has this effect on dopaminergic neurons where it can promote growth of those neuron receptor sites, and it can sort of resensitize them. So I guess in terms of dopamine, you get a little bit more bang for your buck. And so there are 42 milligrams of that in each capsule. Next up is alpha GPC. This is sort of like a fancy top shelf choline donor. I'm using the 50% blend, or the 50% strength extract as opposed to the 99% extract, because the 99% is a little bit more hygroscopic, as in it sort of attracts moisture. And I've had just too many supplements in the past where the hygroscopic element sort of fucks up the entire batch. So this time I'm going for 50%. That's actually what I pretty much always go for. But I just wanted to be safe. So there's 32 milligrams of that in here per capsule. You'll be noticing that these are all fairly low doses. That's because I take a few capsules, because there are a bunch of ingredients here. You can't fit that many things into a capsule, especially like I guess it's the zero size, which typically for me is able to fit about 400 to 550 milligrams. Anyway, next up is zinc orotate. So I have 21 milligrams of this, and this equates to 3 milligrams of elemental zinc. And zinc is a really sort of underappreciated mineral, and it is a cofactor in a lot of the dopamine metabolism. So if you aren't getting sufficient zinc, then other things like tyrosine or phenylalanine or L-DOPA might not convert as well to ready to use dopamine in its neurotransmitter form. So yeah. Next up is magnolia bark extract, and this is just kind of like a calming extract that is good for promoting restful sleep. 21 milligrams of that. And then lastly is vitamin B6 in its fancy form, pyridoxal 5-phosphate. And so there are 11 milligrams in here. Pyridoxal 5-phosphate is known for dream lucidity and dream recall. Again, that's not the point, but it's just kind of in here, almost as a reference to the ZMA stack. But yeah, how's the stack working out for me? Basically, I'm taking 3 to 4 capsules a night, which I'll show you what that looks like in terms of actual dosage, since I just told you how many is in each capsule. Basically, I'd say that it's working out really well so far. It doesn't necessarily induce sleep, but it seems to promote restfulness and good recovery. So I wake up feeling decently refreshed. I don't know if it's because of that or if it's I'm just waking up refreshed lately, but I do feel maybe a little bit sharper the next day. It's hard to tell. I've only been taking it for like about 3 days, and yeah, I think that the next iteration that I do with the 10-to-1 extract of lemon balm might be a little bit more sleep, a little bit sleepier, but it seems to be working out so far pretty well. Something that's interesting about the formulation is that, I use like I said, the zero size capsules, which are pretty small, and I was basically not able to fill them with the standard amount of powder, which would be like 45 grams to 55 grams. I used about like 46 grams, I think, for the whole batch, and the pills were like about half full. Like a lot of them didn't even get full, like between the 100 capsules. And so I guess it's just a matter of the density of some of the ingredients in there. I'm assuming it's the glycine. And so I had to, like, as I was capping them up, I had to scale up the recipe by 50% and just recompound the ingredients. And that did a pretty good job of filling it up. But even then, I think it was like 69 grams altogether, which is like, that's usually too much powder for my bigger pill press. And so it's interesting that even then it wasn't totally full. But because I already had the pills mostly filled up and I couldn't switch up the formula in that moment, I just recompounded the ingredients with 50% more. But next time, I think what I'll do, since glycine is pretty much dirt cheap compared to a lot of the things in here, I'm just going to increase the glycine dose. I already had felt like it was a little bit on the low side. I was just trying to like not make it so I had to take 6 pills at night. But it's glycine. You can take 3 grams. That's what they suggest. However, the glycine freeform crystals taste really strange. I tried putting it in broth one time. It's a very strange sort of like gross sweetness, and so I'm just gonna take them in pill form in this stack. But next time, like I take about 4 of these capsules, and so it's like 1.7 grams of glycine, and so I'm gonna try to crank it up to the suggested dose, 3 grams, which is what the actual powder suggests. That's a reasonable dose of amino acids. So yeah, that's first entry here, Dreamtime version 1. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about this formulation. Yeah, thanks for listening.